RJTI charts versus you just can't play with physics when it comes to markets, President Trump. He is the president of this great country of ours, and it is projected he was assigned to lead. For if it wasn't so, he would not be the president of the United States. And it is what it is, and everyone must respect that he is who he is. Your vote is your vote, and mine is mine, and it is my privilege to hold close to my chest how I voted. But I work out of the great state of Illinois and have lived here for 30 plus years. I once wrote a letter to President Biden to detail exactly what I saw coming under his reign, which is on YouTube. In this message to President Biden, we projected and forewarned through a mock letter to President Biden that our algorithms not only successfully forecast the year 2020 debacle, roughly a year before the crash of 2020 occurred, with specific downside targets, and was emphasizing to President Biden that he had inherited another demise of the stock market to come. We were talking about the inheritance of year 2022. It turns out not only did our forecast depict the exact sell range for the year 2022, we also hit our DJ30 forecasted 10,000 points drop and saw the SP 500 and the NASDAQ follow suit also. Under President Biden's reign, we had warned that he would inherit some global issues, and turns out he had to deal with Israel, Gaza, and Russia, Ukraine outbreaks. All of this was interpreted from our algorithm's position that based on the laws of physics and mathematics approaches. I would say go through our message first. We are projecting to President Trump now that he reigns. And when you have time to review the link below, do it, for it will give you more clarity as to why we're forewarning about the events we strongly believe are to come under President Trump's reign. As you can see the video below, RJTI charts versus I wish I could say to President Mr. Biden for some, and say to Jerome Powell, Janet Yellen, and especially say, and the link is below. On 4/9/2025, President Trump reversed courses when it comes to his tariffs. And it is said that 70 countries folded to his request. Now, we really don't know if the countries he showed were implemented with such tariffs, but there's no way to verify that this actually happened. And we also noticed that a few senators offered advice that this was the prime time for President Trump to back up since he found this humongous conformity. And we also know that many of the top gurus, firms on Wall Street, Elon Musk went bonkers over the tariffs, and also reported that Bill Ackman became concerned too, and one-time supporter of the tariffs. Worked to get President Trump to step back from such aggressive tactics. And yet it is possible that this allowed President Trump to save face and thus provide an off-ramp with dignity by being able to lean on the projected idea that 70 countries bowed the knee, and therefore he could step back. Yet we wonder why all of this took place at a time when the stock market was a half a step from going into bear territory for the first time since year 2020. It is very interesting, and yet we will go with what was reported as valid and true. Let's talk about another truth, and it is our forecast that the markets were to drop in 2025 was 6 months before President Trump won on November the 5th, 2024, and roughly 9 months before President Trump stepped into the White House as our duly elected president. And it was 12 months before he even uttered his actions to implement his promise to install tariffs. Our methodology warning that a major downturn was coming was based off of our algorithms, which works to identify when an event is to take place, or because of the laws of physics call for an action to occur, and for the laws of mathematics to submit to the 100th percentile its laws that 1 plus 1 equals 2, which is unarguable. We never know what the reasons or justifications are going to be for the event predestined to come based from our algorithms, but we understand that such justifications will be provided once our event has commenced. Let us describe how it works. Our cell signals on March the 30th, 2000. Didn't know. We know we got cell signal. Turns out, justification, tech bubble burst. Cell signal, November the 1st, 2007. Reason, afterwards, real estate bubble. Year, fourth quarter, 2018. Reason, trade war concerns, rising interest rates, slowed economic growth, uncertainty, investor sell-off. 12/27/2019. We were forecasting our black swan in 2019 from the overzealous buying that defied physics and math, and we also saw COVID come in, COVID-19. Year, January the 7th, 2022. Reason, raise interest rates, fears of global recession, soaring inflation, wars, Ukraine, Russia concerns. Now, not one of these years when we got our cell signals did we know what the reasoning would be. We only saw that our algorithm said that the laws of physics and the mathematical event was to take place. What about year 2025? Well, as we've said before, our algorithms offered that an event needed to take place to address the insane buying from end of October 2023 to 2024 rally, which had gotten extremely overbought according to the normal range based on our historics. And our algorithm said that such exuberant behavior of buying from those who moved the markets and those who were also inspired to buy overvalued stocks was to hit a brick wall, especially since our 120 years of research have shown that not one time has this type of overbought conditions remained sustainable. Year 2025. How do we see the justification? The reasons that came to answer why the stock market plummeted as we had said it would, because of overbought conditions needed to be corrected. The laws of physics and the laws of mathematics destination call to correct the October 2023-24 unwarranted buying frenzy used President Trump as the vessel. President Trump's "I'm going to put tariffs on the countries" and his staunch stance afforded physics to meet its destination, which was to correct such insanity. Didn't the S&P 500 work to get back to the year's 2023 October 4600 high, and year 2025 SP 500 came just shy with a punch yearly 2025 low of 48.3504 thus far? So what we understand is the signs of our signals, whether they are buy or sell signals, and we simply let the fundamentalists come in to provide the reasons why such is happening. Thanks, President Trump, for helping us with our projections as we were able to sell all three indexes within point of their all-time contract highs: NVIDIA, Lulu, Apple, Tesla, Meta, Google, Gartner, and a slew of others. Also, our accurate forecast that the VIX would explode to the upside toward August 2024 highs, that our goal projection from years 2016 to 2017 finally hit our 3100 target. President Trump is the reasoning. It has been reported that nobody had been forecasting a recession to come during the year 2024 since President Biden's economy was supposed to be exhibiting such strength. But that's far from the truth, MSNBC. We know Goldman Sachs, who is wallowing between 45 to 65% in 2025, that recession is probable. And Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase on Fox, I believe, confessed the potential for a recession in 2025 is probable too. Well, we forecast several times in 2024 that a recession was knocking at our USA's door, if not a global recession knocks. But the real question is the downside over with? Is the downside over with? Well, maybe tariffs aren't going to be the reason why the markets... Wait. Are we saying that the bottom is not in? We'll answer in this way. If you say the bottom is in, then fine. The bottom is in. But for how long is the bottom to be in? Our algorithms see 3, if not 4 issues that don't meet our algorithm's normalcy. And so we're looking for that turnaround that will help us to hit our lower targets. They are Standard & Poor's 500, 4,000 to 4,500, Dow 30, 29,000, 34,500, NASDAQ 12,000 to 15,000. We're leaning on the real estate index, the banking index, global and regional, and although a down is expected before an up, the energy index. There are so many companies in the energy sector that are going to recover in a mighty way. Matter of fact, we see at least 100 out of 248 companies that catch fire. Now, when you look at this chart, real estate index, the colored lines are our downside targets. We see first line, gray, 796.79, 100% probability of trading. Next line, purple, 727.02, 100% probability of trading. 95% is the red line, which is 637.06. Green line is 89%. Target, 564.83. And there could be levels below the green line, but we're only giving that a 64% probability. When we look at global banks, orange line, 460.98. Yellow line, 408.99. Red line, 369.30. Then we look at the regional banks. 35.21. Yellow line, 30.91. And red line, 25.67. And by the way, this red line is pretty close to the trade levels we were seeing around the year 2020. Whoa. Now, when it comes to the energy index, yes, a further decline is possible, but a lot of patience is to push trade higher. We work to carve out buys as declines occur. It is easy to see the trees that make up the forest, and it's even easier to see the forest that's made up of trees. But it's not so easy to see behind the forest. We just have to let time take care of our projections. Get your Ramo today. RJTICHARTS.com, driven by infinite wisdom and its proprietary trading systems.